We talk a lot about retro gaming, probably because of our age. We grew up in I think, the golden age of gaming. Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Space Invaders. Well, there are a few companies out there that are bringing that back. We've created our own arcade cabinets from scratch and kits, but there are some that are pre-made and affordable as well. We're going to be talking with our friend David McIntosh. He's with Arcade1Up, a company that makes arcade cabinets preloaded with games, and all you have to do is set them up and they're good to go. Thanks for joining us, David.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, guys.
Your arcade cabinets, God, they can be found everywhere now. I think they're like at London Drugs. They're at The Brick.
Best Buy.
And what I love about them is that they come preloaded with the games as well. And they're not like the full-size arcade cabinets. So I'd almost call them wife-friendly. They're a bit smaller, and they're not going to take up the entire living room, if you know what I mean. How long has Arcade1 been around, David?
Yeah, they're what we call mid-sized or three-quarter scale.
Yeah.
Arcade1Up launched in October of 2018. It was just a passion project. The CEO had been in the toy industry for about 30 years. So he had been around the block, and he saw the future of consumer products shifting towards the gaming landscape. And then he did a bunch of research. He found that there was a bit of a white space in between, consumer retro products and then commercial grade retro products, like the arcade machines you guys probably remember growing up and playing with. And so he came up with this idea of a three-quarter scale mid-sized arcade machine, and it just blew up. They hit retail in 2018, October. I believe it was in US and Canada. Canada was a few months behind, so it may have been early 2019 when we were available at places like Walmart and stuff. But they quickly sold out. They understood that they were on top of a trend, and the product is now pretty much available worldwide, which is a crazy feat to do in just a 2-year time frame. So yeah, it's been around for just about 2.5 years, going on 3 years, and they just celebrated their 1 millionth arcade machine sold.
Wow!
And we're actually, it's a big number. And for reference, we're approaching 2 million because COVID has really just accelerated unit sales. Believe it or not, people are bolstering their entertainment centers. They're preparing for additional hours spent at home with the family. And in addition to the fact that we're almost at 2 million, we've actually eclipsed the total arcades sold in their own era. So in the 80s and 90s, there's about 1 million active machines in North America. And it's a crazy statistic. It actually, for me, it was a tough pill to swallow, but the difference is that they were coin operated and ours are free to play. So they grossed, billions of dollars without inflation, and we're not quite there yet.
What I love about Arcade1Up's cabinets is that they're kind of all ready to go. John and I have had experience, building these kits you can get on the internet, and they're great. But once you kind of add in everything, from the screens to the arcade cabinet kit to the computer, sometimes you get up to a couple $1,000s really, really quickly, where you guys have been able to get that price, I guess, more affordable.
Yeah, the U.S. price sounds a little more appetizing. It's like $300 to $400. Canadian conversion isn't so friendly. I think it's like $500 to $800, really depending on kind of what the model you're getting is. But the simplicity of just putting it together, the authentic artwork, which if you guys have built your own arcade machines, they don't typically come with all the licensed artwork and gameplay there. It's kind of like DIY, add your own artwork, add your own gameplay. It's not as authentic as kind of the originals, and that's what we're trying to capture with ours. So we've really tried to simple down the kind of DIY arcade process and make it a lot more affordable.
Tell us some of the game cabinets that you have right now, just to bring back some memories for our listeners.
Yeah, so we started off with Pac-Man, Galaga, Rampage, Asteroids, and Street Fighter. That was like our launching roster. And since October of 2018, we've launched about 15 to 20 different titles, anywhere from Miss Pac-Man, Golden Tee, Golden Axe, Burger Time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you name it. Every single classic retro arcade, 9 out of 10 at least, we own the rights to and are either making them or in the process of making them.
You guys also have the cocktail table arcade cabinets as well.
Yeah, we actually have a huge variety now. We started off with the 4 foot, like mid-size, kind of three-quarter scale category. We quickly expanded into the the pub table, like the head-to-head, which was what you're describing, where you can sit across from somebody, replicating that tabletop experience, if you will. And then we also launched countertop arcades, which are a lot smaller in form factor. It's still the same joystick button configuration of all the traditional machines, but in a lot smaller of a kind of desk, like a bar top kind of experience. And we also just launched the Partycade, which is a wall mountable arcade machine. It kind of looks like a picture frame with a joystick and button setup that pops out of it. And it really brings the whole experience to life, but in somewhere like a Toronto style condo, it's not too invasive.
I love those wall mountable ones. I'm looking forward to checking one of those out. But you get that arcade cabinet, but it's I guess, like you said, condo friendly. You don't have this big cabinet in there. You can just basically mount it to the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a picture frame. I had a hard time getting a few machines in here. Just, as you mentioned, it wasn't as wife friendly as I had hoped. In this case, my girlfriend wasn't a fan of the aesthetic, the retro theme that we had. So it's currently in the closet right behind me. I pull it out when we have to do some tests and when my buddies want to play online.
Yeah.
But the wall mounts are going to start to appear throughout the living space.
Tell us about this. You've got a Kickstarter program going right now as well.
Yeah, we just so outside of the retro gaming category, we just expanded our offering into the digital board game landscape. So, just like Google has the Nest and Facebook has the Portal, Amazon has Alexa, Arcade1Up just launched its very first smart home device, which is called the Infinity Game Table. And it houses all of your favorite board games like Monopoly, Scrabble, Battleship, Sorry, you name it, this table has it. In addition to all the licensed content, it also has tens of thousands of activities like coloring books, puzzles, access to comic book libraries. So it's a really innovative smart home device, if you will.
This is a great gaming machine for the whole family. Like, you don't have to be like into Pac-Man or anything like that. If you're into Monopoly and Life, those old traditional board games, like, everyone can get behind that.
Yeah, it really took us by storm because we went to the Kickstarter community, as you had mentioned, just to gauge interest in the board game fandom, because that's really where they all live. Every board game enthusiast checks Kickstarter out for what's new, what's trending, what can I get behind? And so we sent out a feeler in that community. And in fact, out of the 500,000 Kickstarters that have launched, we are the 496th to ever hit the 1 million marker. And we did so in less than 25 days. So it was a huge accolade for the brand. We understood we struck a nerve with the item. We know there's a huge demand for something like this. And what's really unique to the digital board game experience, which you can't get anywhere else, is that we've redeveloped all the games for an around the table experience. So if you were playing Monopoly, say on your iPad, it's a face down view. So you'll be seeing what's specific to your gameplay. Whereas on our table, if there's 6 people sitting around the table, each user has a different experience than the person sitting beside them, because when it's their turn, the table shifts and focuses on what that person should be experiencing. So it's a totally revolutionary experience.
And I think that's why you were so popular with Kickstarter, is because the notion of the family game night is really coming back with, traditional paper-based board games, and then having a table like this that you can just sort of basically have it spin around and do all the things that you wish you could do with the digital equivalents, but now you can with this table that when you're playing Monopoly, you're not going to spin the board around to the other side.
No,
but at least this gives you the ability to be able to see what's going on from your perspective properly without having to be, like you said, the face down in a device situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is a great gaming system for families. Like, it just mimics that old style board game play, but like for today, essentially. And I guess you can keep updating the games on that as well.
Yeah, so it's Wi-Fi enabled. This is a huge feature that we spent a lot of time and resources developing. So say I, shipped you guys a table because I want it to be featured on your next radio podcast, and I had one in my living room. We could set up a game night where, it's your turn on Monopoly, but I'm viewing it, and we could play together. We can, I take a turn, you take a turn, and then, oh, you know what? We ran out of time for dinner. Let's pause the game. turn off our devices, we could pick it up tomorrow. And it's so you get a never before seen online around the table experience, up to 6 players. And because of the Wi-Fi enabled features, you're then able to update the machine in real time. So if, say, we launched with just the 85th anniversary edition of Monopoly, but say down the road we secure a licensed version of Monopoly, like Fortnite's a popular version, Monopoly, Minecraft. I think they did a Game of Thrones Monopoly. So the possibilities are endless through updates.
We're talking with David McIntosh. He is with Arcade1Up, a company that makes awesome arcade machines for your home. They're all kind of ready to go. You just got to set them up out of the package, but they've got all the games loaded on, depending what version you buy. Where can people find out more information, David?
Arcade1up.com. All the information you're looking for in terms of availability, retailers, price points, all on our website.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube page. And that little bell icon, hit that and you'll be notified every time we post a new video. And comment. The more comments and the more likes and subscriptions we get, the more videos we can make.